Hey there, miners and crafters. So today I'm coming at you with a special project. So something I've been working on in my free time is trying to get a little bit better at redstone. And if you can see the map, we are in my regular world here. This is a new area that I do plan to start a very large castle base here pretty soon. But I wanted to get a couple of the main components in here before I started. And part of my Minecraft experience is trying to learn how to do redstone. So I'm trying to learn how to do a little bit more involved redstone. And one of those things I wanted to do was a sorting system. So I haven't gotten super far, but I did have a lot of fun building this part. This is kind of phase one of what I want to do. So ultimately, I wanted to build a storage system that involved shulker boxes and sorting through shulker boxes and pulling all that stuff out, because that's mainly what I use to transport my materials. So let me give you a quick rundown of what I've got built here, and then we'll kind of see this thing in action in this first phase, and we'll continue building this thing throughout this series together. So kind of what I've done here is this is where the shulker boxes will be. I haven't completely finished this whole unloading system yet, but I do have a start on it. So we'll see that in action in just a second. So basically what happens is you put your shulker box down here and the comparator starts pulling a signal out of that. This is a subtractive comparator. So what it does is it takes the signal from this, which has one item in it, and it subtracts it from this. So ultimately, when this has more items than this box will, the whole system will turn itself off. That's going to be super useful. So then we'll start following the path of this redstone here. Currently it is on, it stays on when it is not in use, as you can see by this redstone here. But as you see, there are different parts of this machine that turn itself off. And yes, I'm sure there are better ways to do a lot of the things that I did here, but as we saw in the cow farm, I like to do things on my own and kind of learn how to do all of this stuff, because if I don't learn what these components do and all the different things I can do with them, then I'm never going to be able to really build on my own. So I figure might as well start and build on my own from the very beginning. So that's what I'm trying to do with this whole sorting system. So kind of what I've got going on here is this. This currently has signal. Once I put something in here that has more than I think a stack and 50 something items in it, it will turn all of this stuff off. As you can see, this is currently an inverted signal on this side. So once this whole thing turns off, this will let this torch power come on, which will start this clock that I have going here. This isn't super useful in the beginning, but it is useful later on down the line, because I was running into issues with my comparator system. So I'll kind of explain that a bit more in a second, but we'll also follow this path here. So this path stays on here, but as you can see, there's a block missing from this redstone chain. So what happens is when this clock goes, this observer will observe this, the piston will fire out, and it will link this up. So this is a deteriorating clock. So what happens is this will fire a bunch of times and then it'll turn itself off. So we'll see that when the piston starts firing in just a little bit. The next thing is, the reason for this clock is because with the way that I could think of to build this sort of system, I had to compare one chest to another chest. Again, I'm sure there are better ways to do this, but this is the way that I figured out how to do on my own. So I'm going to put a chest here. So then what happens is when this item has 1 left in it, it's putting out a redstone signal of 1. From a stack and 50 something, I don't know the exact number, 54, I think it's 54. A stack and 54 also puts out 1 redstone signal. So that causes problems because there's roughly a stack and 54 left in this box when the system wants to start going. That's where this comes into hand. So this is what a delay system that I had built, just trying to figure out how to delay redstone signal. So what I did was this comes in and inverts signal so it stays off. When this whole system fires, this powers on, brings my signal around over to here, which again does a deteriorating clock. So this will fire 5 or 6 times and then it'll turn itself off. That will then cause this dropper to fire out this piece of string, and then this whole delayed redstone signal will cause this one to fire, then this one, then this one, then this one, and then the string will shoot out of the top here, slowly coming down, and it times up almost perfectly with 2 stacks of items coming out of a shulker box. So what happens is then This, when this redstone updates, the observer sees it, pushes this piston out, which gives this power, which allows this deteriorating clock to push this piston 4 or 5 times. So I know that's a lot to kind of comprehend. So what's the last thing we're going to talk about here is the automatic dispensing system. So what happens is if there are multiple shulker boxes in the system, this signal will come out from this hopper, then be observed by this piston. Oops, I just got myself trapped. So that redstone signal will come out, be observed by that piston, and then be delayed on multiple counts, because ultimately we need to let this piston fire 5 or 6 times before dispensing another shulker box. So what I've got here is a shulker box with, because as we said, it was a stack in about 54, so this gives us a little bit of time to observe what the system is doing. Same thing in this box. We've got the same thing, a stack and a half in each box. So I'm going to go ahead and load up the dispenser with a shulker box, and then I'm going to put a shulker box right here. So this is starting to dispense itself. Once that gets to a stack in 54, we'll see this whole system turn itself back on, causing this clock to go ahead and start, which is just what happened. So now we see at the top here the string starting to come down. That string is what's delaying the system from pushing this shulker box out. So we'll watch that string come down. Once that string is just about out, we'll see that shulker box get pushed out of place, fall into the hopper below, and then a second one dispensed shortly thereafter after watching the delay from this. So it is a bit of a delay. It did take a second to figure out how to delay the redstone signal this long, but I think it actually worked pretty well. So we're going to see it just about to come down. So we're going to go ahead and watch this side now. So we're going to see the shulker box pop out. Here it comes. Nope, there it is. Shulker box pops out, and another signal comes through and puts another shulker box in, which is just now pulling all of its items. You can see the first shulker box and the second one is unloading itself. So this is the first step I've made into creating my own auto shulker box sorting system. I then plan to sort out the shulker boxes from the regular boxes and then take from the regular items, and then the items will then move on along the water stream and start going into an auto sorter system. So that's kind of the whole idea behind this. I know it's not the prettiest thing, it's not the most compact thing, it's probably not the most efficient thing, but ultimately it works and I figured it out for myself, so I'm super happy about that. And yeah, welcome to Redstone with Dandolph. It's always an adventure. I will catch you guys once I make a little bit more progress on this. Thanks for joining me.